Hello and welcome to another edition of Coull Discussions. I'm Barry, this is Chris. Thanks for joining us today again. Today we're going to talk a little bit about assisted death, or assisted suicide, however you want to call it.
The right to die with dignity?
That's right. Recently in Canada, we've come one step closer to making assisted death legal.
Actually, it is legal. By June 6th, all the provinces have to have rules and guidelines in place in law.
And there actually has been one case of a Calgary woman who had, I think it was ALS.
Yep.
She won the right recently, probably I think it was last week. I think it was within 7 days ago, I think.
Yep.
She won the right to assisted death. Now, there was a whole bunch of criteria that obviously that a judge of the court looked at. Was she like a capable mind? Was she in so much pain and was it irreversible? She needed statements from friends, from doctors, stuff like that. And she actually had to go out to BC to have the procedure performed because there's nobody qualified, nobody allowed to do it in Alberta, right?
They were saying that nobody in Alberta wanted to do it.
Oh, I thought there was nobody licensed. And I think it was
because there are no doctors licensed to kill right now. That's what the law is about. But in Alberta, I guess she couldn't find a doctor who was willing to write a letter stating this person wants to die and deserves the right to die with dignity.
So I think it's definitely a step in the right direction. I think that, if you're in that area, if you're in that kind of situation, I know for myself, I know that if I was in a situation like that where I was confined to a wheelchair and I needed somebody to take care of me 24 hours a day, I would not want to live like that. I would be like, this isn't fair, number one, to myself and to anybody else who has to take care of me.
Correct.
And it's like, just give me the choice. If I write up a will, well, I'm in sane mind and saying this, you know what I mean? Or if I'm still able to comprehend the decision that I'm making.
I can't argue really against doctor-assisted suicide because there are lots of diseases out there, cancer being one of them, that are just horrendous on the body that just put you through hell. And I get it, you don't want to have to live through hell on the off chance, like the 1 in a million Hail Mary pass that,
there's a cure found for it.
A cure or even just, some relief from pain.
Yeah.
So I get it. I have followed this for many years. This has been many years in the making. I'm actually of two minds of this. I agree with it. It needs to be regulated. It needs to be made into law because people are going to do it regardless of whether or not
there's going to be a black market for it.
Yeah, but there's a European track record for this because in Europe it's actually a law. It's been a law for many years. It's not a horrible track record, but unfortunately there have been lots of instances of a healthy guy checking in to a hospital. And then his next door neighbor is the one who wants to die, and he's the one who ends up dead.
Oh, okay. So they made a mistake.
Yeah, and unfortunately there have been...
there has to be fail-safes in place to prevent that kind of thing.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Well, okay, there's supposed to be fail-safes in Europe.
Yeah.
In Europe, there's a whole bunch of fail-safes. They have, you have to sign this, have a psychiatric assessment, have the doctor check you out. You're supposed to go through regular medical treatments. Now, it does vary from country to country in the European Union, but in the end, you can die, but mistakes are made, and
that's a pretty big mistake, though.
It is. A healthy young man going to the hospital and not waking up the next day.
I didn't just give you the wrong meal. I gave you the wrong medicine, and you're dead.
And that is
lawsuit.
one... you know what? I never heard of whether or not there was a lawsuit to go with it.
I would think there would be.
I would hope that there would be. However, you never know. It could have just been completely ignored.
So, the government is coming... I, for one, don't trust the government to put proper fail-safes in to something like this. I think this needs to be put into the hands of like medical professionals on the criteria, the guidelines that need to be outlined. I think you should. I think you should be able to write it into your will. Like you can write a do not resuscitate order into your will. You know, I don't see that as a problem. If I right now, as a 35-year-old man, go, I want to die. If I'm debilitated beyond a point of living a standard of life I'm used to right now, you know what I mean? Like if I'm a quadriplegic, I'm confined to, you know what I mean? Then I don't want to put the burden on my family to take care of me. Mm-hmm. It's not fair. Like I should be able to just go, okay, well, you know, what kind of life is that?
Don't worry, we'll just throw you in a ditch.
Good.
And let you rock.
Good. Throw me off the fucking a bridge. I don't. Good. Good. I'll roll myself off the bridge if I'm in a wheelchair. Even though I can't, I'll figure it out. That's how they do it. I don't know, but I would do that. I just don't think it's.
No,
it's not fair.
And again,
like,
I get it. I totally understand that this whole wanting to die with dignity. I get it. How do you? That little Christian inside of me, unfortunately, is going, no, that's not. Murder is murder, right? If you assign shades of gray to it, at what point in time does something become too gray, right? Mm-hmm. Like that's the part of my mind that goes.
That's why you have to have the outline. You have to have the guidelines. You have to have the structure to it.
And I get it, but okay,
you can't just walk into a clinic and be like, "I want to die," and you're dead.
No, very true, very true. Like having a disease like ALS is a horrible thing to have to go through, especially for friends and family. And I get it, you want to die. Cancer, most cancers, I'm sure there are a few cancers that are like really survivable.
If
but
it's
if you have
inoperable and terminal, like
exactly,
and all you're going to do is deteriorate down to nothing.
Yeah, like I get it, and it's hard to argue against something like that. It really is because you don't want to be a burden upon yourself or your friends and family or society as a general. And I totally get it. As I said, the little Christian in me is going no because it is.
But that's the thing.
Murder.
It's not because if it's consensual. If I'm saying I want to die because of my situation and I meet the guidelines and criteria, and the doctor's going, well, I provide this service. You come to me, I provide this service for you. I'm going in there knowing what's happening. He's not murdering me. He's not, because murder is like is by definition pretty much you kill somebody without. Obviously there's different degrees of murder, but you're killing somebody without consent.
Well, murder is just taking someone else's life.
Yeah.
Okay. Because really, a person who's suicidal will give you consent to have them kill you.
Yeah, but then you have to go through like...
No, hold on. This isn't the doctor thing. I'm saying murder is murder. Right? Even though it's, doctor-assisted suicide. What I'm getting at is like, a murder, I think we're stuck on the definition of murder, but murder is just taking someone else's life.
Yeah.
Now, a person who is suicidal will consent to murder and let you take their life.
Yes, but then the doctor would know, and
I'm
because
not
that
talking
person...
about the doctor. I'm just talking a person who's suicidal.
Yes.
Like, anybody who's suicidal will go, oh yeah, sure, go ahead, kill me. It's still murder.
Yeah, but then...
Even though there was consent given. In a case of doctor-assisted suicide, yes, you give consent to kill me, but in the end, it's still murder.
But that's where the regulations come in. It's not consent. Like, I can't sit there and be like, yeah, I want you to kill me. Like, I can't be like, I want you to kill me, because we're not... Like, it has to be a regulation. Like, now, okay, I go like this. I want to die because of my situation. Now, what happens is you go into the guidelines and criteria. Do you check the boxes, so to speak?
Oh, yeah, and I get it. Okay.
So if you just kill me...
Let's talk about... Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit, because in Ontario, they actually do have a list of stuff that they have for criteria. So it's like, they have to fill out an application. You have to apply to die, which sounds really weird. Quebec has the same thing. You have to have an intending doctor see to you, so they have to deal with you. You have to have a psychiatric assessment, and you have to have the assisting doctor's permission and paperwork to go with it. And in Quebec, they just require you to have a statement from 2 doctors.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's the guidelines. I'm
But,
talking
okay,
about. You can't
just comparing those two right there, there's no psychiatric assessment in Quebec. It just says 2 doctors. And at that point in time,
I think that is kind of a fail-safe, because if you go to one doctor, you go to your family doctor who knows you. They're going to probably write you a note for almost anything. They'll, your family doctor will just write you a note. They don't care, right?
Well,
whereas
if
you have
family
to go,
doctor is okay. If you have a family doctor and you have a good relationship with them, yes,
90% of the time they're going to write you a note for anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously
they are going to try to do things for you to begin with. They're going to sit there and go, have we tried this? Have we tried this? And in the end, the doctor knows what kind of pain you're going through because he's the one prescribing you.
But that's
pills.
the thing. Like, doctors have like a code of ethics, right? If you don't go through if you don't go through these diagrams, if you don't go through these steps and these guidelines, right? Then these doctors could be then tried for murder because they were.
Now, okay, the doctors are supposed to have that oath, do no harm. They are supposed to take it as part of their graduation from doctorhood. Now, I don't know if this is true, but I've heard that they don't actually take that oath anymore.
Oh, I have no idea.
So, based on... Okay, this is totally rumor and speculation, but like if doctors aren't required to take that oath anymore, they have no...
I think doctors are overwhelmed, so I just worry about, like... I know that our healthcare system in Canada is very... It's not the greatest healthcare system. It's very overwhelmed. It's very... there's a lot of pressure on it. So I wonder, putting something like this into it, how much more pressure that's going to add to it. Because now you're a doctor making a decision on somebody's life.
Oh, and
somebody comes to you with this debilitating disease, this that's untreatable, and they're saying, please, just please.
And that's one of the things about murder, though, is like, being responsible for somebody else's life and death, and taking a life, it can be very traumatic to a person. They can suffer PTSD from it. So it's a horrible thing, and I think that's one of the reasons why in the Bible it says, do not kill. It's because it's not just because you're taking somebody else's life, because, as I said, if someone's suicidal, they'll consent, but it affects the person you take a life from, but it also affects the person taking the life.
Absolutely, but I think it's more of, like, compassionate. I think it's a lot more compassion than it is just this person is like, look at this person. This lady had to eat out of a feeding tube, and it was like, man,
she wanted to have a last meal, which she did. She had steak and potatoes.
Salmon and potatoes.
Oh, salmon and potatoes.
But she had to mash it up.
But her common law partner had to mash it up for her.
Could you imagine watching the person that you love deteriorate like that from a healthy human being? Just slowly sliding. And if you had the choice to stop it, like, right here,
before it got down to here,
what would you do? I would want to stop it and be like, hey.
Again.
You know what I mean?
It's a difficult thing to argue. It really is, because it's like, you want to be compassionate, right? Because the right to die with dignity is... a good way to put it, because you don't want to die with hoses and pipes everywhere.
And imagine, like, this is gonna sound totally cold-hearted, but it would take a lot of burden off of, like, the old folks' home, the hospitals. Imagine if, like, you had this law comes to pass. There's 150,000 people with ALS who are going through this the same as this lady. And they just want to die. They just like, no, we can't do this anymore. Imagine the pressure that would alleviate from our healthcare system.
Ooh, see.
People taking care of them.
Right there.
And, like,
is that possibility for a slippery slope?
Well...
Because, no, okay.
It is, absolutely.
Because at that point in time, a number crunch will go, well, you know what? We got 200,000 other people here that are...
We're not just...
early stages of ALS. Why don't we just take care of them, too?
And that's where it comes back to the guidelines. Where it comes back to the structure.
But...
it comes back. We have to make sure that we have the right rules in place.
But, okay, and then... You're right. And this is where the non-government trust comes into. Yeah. Because just talking about Quebec and Ontario...
They're different already. And I think you need
Quebec,
to be federal.
Fill out a prescribed form... and get 2 doctor's notes. Ontario specifically says you have to have an attending doctor tell you that all these things. You have to have the doctor who's going to assist you say yes. You have to have a psychiatric assessment, and you have to fill in an application. So just from the sounds of it, in Ontario, it's already a way stronger set of standards than
I think it should be just mandated federally. It shouldn't be up to the.
But okay, hold on.
There should be a minimum. Should be a minimum of what it has to be, and then
there we go.
Each province can go. We're going to go above this, or we're going to.
That's where because the provinces here in Canada, in the States, it's completely different. I understand this, but in Canada, every province is responsible for their own healthcare. So here in Alberta, they take care of their own health costs. They mandate what is a standard wait time, how long people are allowed to wait.
Each province has their own healthcare, right?
Yeah, and each province, it changes from province to province. So yeah, you're right. Maybe the federal government should make
set a minimum.
You need to go A, B, C, D, and then a province can go, well, maybe we need E and F, G type thing. So
yeah, but that's the thing. How can you talk to somebody who can't talk? How can you assess somebody who's already at a stage of ALS where they can't talk and they don't have the motor skills, they don't have the ability to maybe you're a vegetable. In a sense, you're a vegetable. How do you say yes, you're allowed to die because you're
maybe with the law coming into place, you can write it into your will saying, if I hit a certain spot, please let me die.
If I hit 65, please just let me die.
Now, okay, this, as I said, this is hard to argue because it is from a compassionate point. I understand that.
That one's the easy part. I think because I think I understand what you're saying. Well, maybe not, but the compassion one is pretty easy to go. Hey, yeah.
It's hard to argue.
What if somebody's 89 years old and they've lost everybody in their life, and they just go, I don't want to do this anymore? What happens then? What do you do in that kind of situation? Because at that
point in time, you could prove you're pretty competent of mind.
And you go, I just want to die. I'm 90 years old.
And if you have a family physician, no, that's really tough for an 89-year-old to have a family physician.
Yeah.
But, at that point in time, some family physicians might go, yeah, you know what?
Yeah, sure. So at what point, that is the slippery area. That's the area where
there's too much gray. That's the thing. I think they need to definitely make it a black and a white
but I think,
situation.
This is going to sound real bad. But I guess, if you just want to have people lining up to die, maybe it would make the world a better place because our population would thin out.
Yeah, well, okay, maybe in North America the population would thin out.
Shit.
But don't forget that population control is a problem in China, India, Pakistan.
I know, I was just,
Yeah, okay.
It's just,
okay, now, this is the part that bugs me about this whole thing. There is a recommendation to include mature minors up to 3 years. So the minimum age for this whole thing is 18. Mm-hmm. However, they want to include mature minors. Mm-hmm. They don't define what a mature minor is, which is a sticking point. So basically, they're saying they want to let somebody who's 15 years old decide their right to die. Mm-hmm. Now, suicidal tendencies happen to come across a lot from that
in teenage years,
13 to 18 time span.
Because you think life is over when everything bad happens.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a lot of suicidal teenagers at this point in time who go, "Hey, look, I have a way out by law." The Canadian Pediatric Society says no. Don't allow it at all. This is not.
But what if you have a child who meets the criteria? Whose decision is it then? Is it the parents' decision?
But
is it?
No. That's the thing. They're saying a mature minor, no parents.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I'm asking that question. Should it be up to the parents? You know what I mean? That's another gray area. Obviously, that's another bridge that's going to have to be crossed when a situation like that comes up, because there are kids who have the terminal cancer and who have that kind of stuff.
And again, it's one of those things of, you can't argue that, because you know what, if it's a horrible thing to see old people suffer cancer,
and
but
young people, anybody suffer cancer.
It's even worse when they're young, because it's they're supposed to have life at this point in time.
But it's just like I said, you can't just be lining people up in this like a slaughterhouse. You know what I mean? You can't just start lining up. We can't just erect fucking big slaughterhouses to kill people nowadays. Now, if this comes to pass, because there are going to be people who try to beat the system, and that's why, again, it comes back to, we need to have a good base, a good foundation of rules and guidelines, and it shouldn't be set by the government. It should be set by logical thinking people, which politicians are not.
Doctors, psychiatrists,
nurses,
throw the nurses in there because they are the ones who are on the front line.
Deal with them every day. Yeah, when you deal with somebody who shits their bed all the time or can't control their bowels or anything like that, it's like we need to hear these extreme stories. We need to hear these extreme cases, and we need to look at them and go, could this be used in this situation? Could this be used in this situation? We have to be proactive in looking at situations and scenarios.
Yep.
Not reactive. And that's how the government is. They're reactive. The government will be, we're going to put this out, and then things happen, and they go, maybe we should revisit this. Where we should be, especially this, because it's a big thing.
Because doctor-assisted suicide is commonplace in Europe. I don't know any kind of figures or anything like that. I just know it is something they do, or maybe it's just a country or two. But either way, slip-ups have happened, and that's one of the biggest, we can't do it because of this. And it's like, you're right. We can't do it because we don't want to kill people that aren't supposed to
die,
who don't want to die.
Yeah.
So, standards, minimum standards, at least, you know what? We got... Politicians sit there and they're like peacocks, strutting around, showing off their feathers,
right.
but really not signifying anything. You know what? Grow a pair of balls or whatever the hell you want to call it, and do something. Say, hey, you know what? Okay, yeah, we're going to say you have the right to die with dignity. However, you have to do A, B, C, D. And in the provinces, if you guys want to go E, F, G, all the way to Z, and double letters, whatever.
I think we've made a step in the right direction. I think that it's for compassion, like the compassion aspect. I think it's a good thing. Now, obviously, there's going to be situations and scenarios that come up that are going to test this theory, and it's going to happen. And let us know what you guys think. Tell us, are you on board with assisted death? Or assisted suicide, as he calls it. I call it assisted death.
Okay, the media calls it dying with dignity.
Yeah.
It used to start off with doctor-assisted suicide.
Or if you want to call it murder. You can call it murder.
You can call it murder. As I said, little Christians be going, it's murder, it's murder.
So,
and it's like, I know, but these people suffer, and you don't want them to suffer.
I know, I don't want to suffer.
I would prefer not to, actually, myself. If I'm a vegetable, I'm sorry, pull the plug.
Yep.
Put a little knife in my heart.
Yeah, do something.
Let's speed it along.
Let us know what you think about this topic, because it's kind of a cool topic. It's interesting to kind of, we brought up a few good points where it's going to cause problems, and hopefully our government doesn't fuck it up.
Yeah, well, with the current government's track record here in Alberta, I think they're going to totally...
It's a whole different bag of ball sacks right there.
Yeah. I love our government.
Yeah. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share it, YouTube, Facebook, Cool Discussions, iTunes. You can get our podcasts on there. We have 8 awesome episodes that you can listen to. All that good stuff. Same with YouTube. Just hit the play all. Listen to us as you ran
on
over.
iTunes. You can listen to us all in one shot.
That's
we
right.
Talk about the whole thing, all 3 or 4 subjects that we tend to talk about. Whereas on YouTube, we cut it down, so you only have to spend 20 minutes or so with us.
Because we know your time is valuable.
Yeah, it is,
and we appreciate every second you give to us.
You do actually have to work,
so
instead of watching all these cat videos.
That's right.
Okay.
So, guys, thanks for tuning in to this episode. Appreciate it. Everybody, have yourselves a wonderful, wonderful day.
Bye.